Hey guys, how's it going? So it's been almost a year since we moved in. Can you believe it? I just finished decorating our farmhouse for Christmas 2022 and can't wait to show you how pretty it all looks. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, glass of wine, whatever you like, and enjoy my holiday home tour. Oh, and if you're dropping by from my good friend Anne and Anne Marie's at Simply Two Moms, welcome to my home. So decorating this year has been a lot of work so far because I'm not even done. I finished with the inside and now I'm just really getting started on the outside. As I'm decorating, I'm learning what I want to do and still making some tweaks. We want to add lights and a lot of fresh greenery outside that I've barely started on, so you'll have to check back in on the progress. So this year's Christmas aesthetic is leaning more towards cozy natural neutrals. Our home has lots of wood floors with painted inlays and checkerboard travertine tile that has a warm vibe, and the neutrals really complement the bones of our home and add lots of character. You know, it's been so fun getting to know our new to us home and gardens. The property here is pretty spectacular, and it felt like Christmas morning for the gardener every day throughout the different seasons. I shared a bunch of garden tours throughout the growing seasons here on YouTube, so you can check them out here on my channel. While I planted 2 cottage gardens myself, the former homeowners did an amazing job creating all of these incredible garden rooms and outdoor living spaces that you just have to see. So it recently started getting colder here, so I held off cutting fresh greenery from the gardens to make my winter front porch planters like I've done in the past. I am just getting started working on them and will continue doing them over the next week or so, but I prefer waiting until December anyway, so they last through February in my zone 6A climate. But for now, I tuck some faux greenery in my vintage copper boiling pot that I found thrifting and some boho planters until I'm ready to really get started. To jazz up the porch swing, I added faux cedar garland with lights to cozy up the chains on the swing with these red and black buffalo check and Christmas pillows. And I also added a new outdoor area rug that is so pretty with the greenery, and that abelia in the back of the garden that still has some flowers on them. Even as those flowers dry, they look pretty spectacular. The front entry hall went through some major changes over the last year. It used to be cranberry red, and while the color was beautiful, it was a little dark and closed in the space. I painted the trim and walls with linen white by Benjamin Moore, and it's like a whole new living space now. The wood floors have a painted inlay, so sometimes it's a little tough not to compete with them when looking for the right area rug. And I'm still learning so far, but I'm loving my latest rug that I got from Loloy. It's beautiful, it's neutral, and I love it. I may ultimately move this one into the library, but for now it's staying in the foyer. In addition to the area rug, we've been decorating this room with thrifted storage pieces and decor we found both locally and in Vermont. My painted piano is also in the space that I enjoy decorating with seasonal decor. Next year I'm thinking about doing a beautiful garland with taper candles for a simple look, but this year I'm all about the anthropology vase with faux poinsettias and greens. For Christmas, I decorated with a natural neutral vibe using gold leaf branches, glittery whorls, and these incredible Real Touch poinsettias that I found at the local nursery. I added a garland to the staircase with white lights, pine cones, white berries, gold sprays, and the same gold leaf branches and glittery whorls to move the look around the room so that it all flows. And most recently, I added the clusters of Christmas ornaments. My new Christmas king flock tree is in this space too, and is decorated with the same vibe. I love how it turned out, don't you? One of the reasons I wanted to keep this room pretty neutral is it flows right into the dining room that is also decorated with a neutral vibe. And speaking of my flock tree, do you see the tree skirt beneath the gold tree collar? My niece crocheted that for me. I love the dainty ruffles and how they add a feminine touch to the tree. If you crochet and want to learn how to make one of these vintage beauties, she shared an easy tutorial on her YouTube channel that I'll link in the description below. And for the first time, I decided to add some ribbon to my Christmas tree too. I used 2 different kinds that I found at the local nursery. One is really thick and large with a lot of pretty gold detail, and the other is like a simple gold. I considered going horizontally around the tree with it, but chose to waterfall the ribbon down the tree instead, and really love the result. To decorate the tree, I chose a bunch of gold, bronze, and glitter ornaments to add more texture to the tree. Plus, I used those same gold branches, glitter whirls, and gold berry sprays. And in case you want to achieve the same look, I'm going to link similar products in the description below. The most dramatic change that we made to our home since moving in is the dining room. And the only way to appreciate just how much we did is to check out what it looked like before, because wow, did it look different. We spent a weekend removing dark upholstered walls. Can you even imagine? And then spent almost another 2 weeks repairing the walls, painting the walls trim, and the textured faux finish ceiling. It was a ton of work, but well worth the effort, because look at it all now. While it's still a work in progress, it's come a long way and I love where it's going. The table and chairs are the last to get a makeover in here for a little while. I'm hoping to recover the fabric and strip the orange tone from the wood, hopefully this winter. The shining star of the room is my glamorous crystal chandelier that stops me in my tracks every time I walk by. I also have my oversized black china cabinet and hutch in this space on one wall, and it soaks up pretty much the entire wall for the most part, but I did add a few slim flock trees with lights on the sides for Christmas to spruce things up a little bit. The opposite wall was pretty blank, and I'd been searching for the right piece to fit there. We need the circulation around the dining room table, so a larger storage piece would overwhelm the spot. While out thrifting with my husband, I found an old mantle, refinished it a few times until I got it right, and decorated it for the holidays. It adds some texture to the room with a little bit of sparkle from the vintage mirror above it and the Christmas mantle decor. I love it. The table is set for a pretty Christmas party with a poinsettia centerpiece in a brass ice bucket. To keep things looking neutral, I focused on greens and golds for the table decor and love how it turned out. It's cozy, it's pretty, and it's welcoming for guests. Last year I decorated the living room with more reds and whites, but this year I pulled back a little and focused more on neutrals with pops of red on the tree and the mantle, and I started decorating this room with like a lot more reds. I didn't love it, so I focused more on cozy, natural, and neutral textures in a majority of the space. It will be that much easier to make the transition to winter when Christmas is over. This is one of the only rooms left on the main floor that we did not update, and I imagine we will at some point, but for now, we're gonna leave it as is. The ceiling has these beautiful hand-painted faux designs and Venetian plaster on the walls. It's a little dark for my taste, but I want to live with it for a little while before changing anything. While we didn't do a major update to this room like the others, I did purchase a few big-ticket items and decorative pieces to bring it more to scale with the room and overall vibe of the home. It started with this area rug that I love so much. It's got the perfect blend of earthy neutrals and looks amazing with my dark leather sofas. The French country coffee table and side tables are both new to the space. I love the lines on them, and they are really elegant to modernize my farmhouse. To spruce up the walls behind my dark leather sofas, I found these gorgeous vintage floral prints. I love the moody color palette in them, don't you? When I added pops of red to this section of the living room, it clashed with the overall look of the space. So I just pulled them out. I'm on the hunt for different throw pillows, but I love the look so far. I love where it's going. It feels really cozy, and we love it. The family room came a long way too. Do you remember what it looked like before? It had dark brown Venetian plaster walls that we painted over with Benjamin Moore linen white to brighten it up, and it made a world of difference. And while I don't have photos of them, the windows used to have these beautiful plantation shutters on them that we took down shortly after moving in. Because I enjoy bringing the outdoors in, they block the view of the incredible backyard Zen garden, so those were just the first things to go. The blinds weren't staying open, they kept kind of closing, and it really obstructed your view of the beautiful gardens outside. I'm slowly decorating this space as well, and it's coming together nicely. We hang out in here a lot as it gets a ton of natural light, and it's just off the kitchen. My favorite piece in the room is my round mango wood coffee table. I love the tones in the wood and the texture of the piece. It's the perfect coffee table for a large sectional sofa too. To decorate for Christmas, I was inspired by some cozy ski lodge looks from Pottery Barn. I grabbed a dough bowl, filled them with neutral textured potpourri and winter greens, tucked in some red poinsettias and amaryllis all around the room. Plus, I added some battery-operated taper candles in these vintage candlestick holders, pillar candles and these rustic cloches for some cozy lighting too. I found these fun ski lodge pillows at HomeGoods, so I snagged a few and swapped out what I had here from fall. We added another King of Christmas tree to this room as well, and that is decorated with a bunch of vintage ornaments from my grandmother. I think they date back to World War I, which is like kind of cool, right? These ornaments were in storage for so long as I didn't have enough room for them in the old house, but here they get their own tree in the family room and we really love it. I'm so glad you guys were able to drop by today. Do you have a favorite look from my home? If so, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Next up on the Farmhouse Holiday Home Tour is my good friend Rachel from the Ponds Farmhouse. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.